A teacher has been dismissed, teachers have gone on strike, and I think we have a serious problem, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So teachers went on strike again across Swansea yesterday, but not for the reason you might think. It wasn't over pay or working conditions as such. This was over a male teacher who was dismissed for separating a fight between two male pupils. Now, according to the reports, the teacher was initially disciplined, but then later exonerated on appeal, and then after a second appeal was dismissed for his actions in separating the fight between two pupils. So the teachers' union voted in favour of a strike because they say that teachers must be confident that they'll be supported when they intervene in violent incidents to keep both themselves and other pupils safe. The council, on the other hand, said that it was extremely disappointed by the union's decision, refuted the claims of employer abuse, victimisation or failure to comply with employer agreements. But this is where I think we have a serious problem. Because if we have very serious issues in classrooms, and believe me, there are many serious issues in classrooms across the country. I know people that work in those environments, and they tell me of some quite horrific stories, not with any specificity, of course, they just tell me in general. And of course, we've had clients who've been involved in such things. And both the schools, in some instances, don't really deal with these issues properly. And in some cases, the parents create all sorts of problems surrounding the children's behaviour. But when we come to this situation where teachers cannot even be confident to intervene in a fight and separate two pupils fighting for fear of being dismissed, I think we have a very serious problem. You might remember a video from Al on the art of law. I'll link in the description below if I remember to find the link, where he had to effectively have a bit of a fight with his own client to protect somebody else. I'll try and remember to link that video in the description below. But where would we be if we cannot be confident that we can stand up for somebody else like that? Every day I see near misses of violent behaviour in and around the streets going to and from various courts or other places. Now, if I were to see something like that, I would feel confident with my training background to step in and defend somebody. But what about when you're in a closed environment such as a school, where the school and the teachers have a special duty of care to everyone within their care, within the confines and the curtilage of that school? I agree with the union. They need to feel confident that they can step in to separate fights, to dissipate violence, and not be in fear of being disciplined and dismissed for their behaviour. Now, of course, there is a boundary, and I don't know all of the facts to this case, so that is a caveat to this video, but I don't think for a moment that the teacher would have deliberately been aggressive and violent in separating this fight. Much more likely that the teacher just wanted to separate the two children from fighting. And if the teacher cannot be confident in doing so, we have a very serious problem. Now, just as an aside, regardless of what environment you're in, whether it's a school or a workplace or anyone else, nobody, and this goes for school children as well, nobody can take away your common law right to defend yourself and to defend others. Now, self-defense, as I've explained in previous videos, applies a relatively straightforward test, but one that does turn on very specific facts. First, there is a subjective test of what whoever it is that believes the use of force is necessary, what did they genuinely believe the circumstances to be that called for the use of force in the first place? And if that first part of the test is satisfied, then what was the level of force that they used? And is that objectively what an ordinary, reasonable, sound-minded person would think? What would they think about the level of force used? Would they think that the level of force used was reasonable and proportionate? And if so, then they've met the test for self-defense. And so in the case of this teacher, aside from employment contracts, if the teacher was exerting the use of force that he felt necessary and it was proportionate to protect both himself, other school children, and indeed there's two school children that were fighting, then he's acting in self-defense of those two school children. That is a very generic assessment. Obviously not a specific legal advice for this specific circumstance because I don't know all of those facts. But that's what we have courts for. But it is not, in my humble, respectful view, for a local authority to dismiss a teacher because the teacher stepped in to separate a fight. Let me know what you think in the comments to this one, because this is a very serious issue. And if not dealt with, and if not addressed properly, fully and firmly, then the only thing I can guarantee, near enough guarantee, is that teachers across the country will just stand back and not do anything. And pupils will fight, pupils will get hurt, and the teachers are not going to do anything because there will be no discipline in the classroom. And that is dangerous for the two people that are fighting, the rest of the class and the teacher. So let me know what you think in the comments to this one. This is a very serious issue. I would encourage all of you to leave your comments below respectfully in an open discussion. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.